Hello, this is David Hilster, a critical thinker, dissident scientist, and if you are not science woke, then this is the place for you. There are literally thousands and thousands of scientists from around the world who've been working for decades outside the mainstream, who have identified problems, fixed those problems, and who are proposing new theories and models. You won't find anything like this on YouTube, so make sure you go down below, click on the subscribe button, the little bell next to it to be alerted when our next video drops. Okay, there are headlines that, of course, David D. Hilster will not pass up. Does the universe still need Einstein? You get, I of course, these titles fool you all the time, but in reality, we end up finding out that no, in fact, the title is very tempting, and you're thinking, finally, they're going to challenge Einstein's, but this is from New York Times, so you can imagine, no, this is mainstream city, so we got to take a look at it. Instead of clipping out the little clippings today, I have decided I will just read through the article, make it a little bigger here. And of course, physicists no longer unified in the search for a unified theory. So, of course, you got beautiful graphics. Remember one of the things I say, people have beautiful graphics because it makes it look more real. And this is by this guy here. So, anyways, is Albert Einstein finally dead? I'm not sure really what that means. I guess the idea is that, well, is his theory wrong? Yes, the old sage took his last breath, of course, in 1955. But lately, he has been dying a second death, if one believes a new spate of articles and papers bemoaning the state of contemporary physics. Whoa! That is great news to hear that. Let's see if what he's going to say. So far, he could be a critical thinker. Is he? Let's find out. I'm reading this with you. Never mind the recent staging discovery of Is that me unconsciously saying staging? After, if you haven't seen it, go right there. This is my video on how two Danish scientists say, hey, didn't really discover signals for gravitational waves, but it's not staging, it's staggering. Never mind the recent staggering discovery of gravitational waves, ripples in space-time that Einstein predicted a century ago, and which indicate the universe is peppered with black holes that shred and swallow stars. Well, you got the ripples in space-time, which no one knows what that is, and the staggering discovery, which is obviously a very biased. Other journalists will actually, if they're good journalists, in my opinion, they'll say, the supposed discovery of gravitational waves. These people are staggering. Well, they're staggering so he can get his interviews with the big guys and write, for the New York Times to say, oh, I know all this stuff about these very important people, the brain people. No, something much deeper than gravity or quantum theory, Einstein's other misgotten legacy, is at stake. More than anyone, it was Einstein who set out a goal for modern science, the search of the final theory of everything, a unified theory that would explain why there is no other way to put the universe together than the one we seem to live in. So that's people, I guess, are wanting to do. I'm going to talk about that. I think I have talked about it. Maybe look it up, see if I've done that. Roll over, Albert. There are no laws in physics. Read the headline and on an article in Quanta, the online science magazine, last summer by Robert Dijkgraaf, the director of the Institute of Advanced Study, where Einstein spent his last 20. Well, if this guy spent the time at the place where Einstein spent his last 20 years, he too is a big brain. He will become, I guess, blessed with genius, which of course is an illusion. Instead, there are a frightening complex landscape of possibilities and in a nearly infinite, subtly connected network of complex, complementary versions of reality. This is where you can see this whole thing just exploding. If you are one of the people checking out this channel and you read things like this and you wonder to yourself, is there anybody else thinking this is just off their rocker? Yes, this is absolutely off the rocker. There's only one three-dimensional space. You can have things infinitely small and infinitely big in the sense of going up, 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 and down, 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 down. But this idea that there are complementary versions of what? This is just beyond belief in Einstein. Einstein, who is also special relativity and general relativity, are not correct. Just look up dissident science, relativity. You'll find those videos. You can look at them. That's bad enough. But now they're saying, okay, of course, this idea of getting a unified theory, it may not happen because we may have just infinite universes and they all have different laws. Anyways, there exists a universe for every good or bad dream you've ever had, each with its own set of so-called fundamental particles, forces, laws, and dimensions. And dimensions. You notice that? There are not 3 dimensions, and dimensions. How many ways can this be wrong? 1,000. An infinite amount of ways, actually. It's really, really quite amazing. They're actually literally saying there are exists in a universe for everything. Okay, I'm gonna. If you're new to my channel, let me tell you this. People hear it all from me all the time. Universe exists in our human language and many languages, many of the human languages, to mean one thing: everything. You don't have 2 of them. If it's real and it exists somewhere, it's in the universe, like the Ohio State University where I went. But that's this landscape is also known as a multiverse. Is the vision of string theorists. Okay, again, if you're new to my channel, I appreciate I got new subscribers all the time. String theory was invented. The people who invented it, who were at Caltech in the early 90s, I saw them on TV or I read an article in the LA Times. They basically said they were abhorred. They were horrified that people treated the string theory as even real. So all this talking, what you know is you're in a paradigm shift, and we have been actually for 450 years, but we've been in a paradigm shift because you can see modern physics is falling apart. And this is a does the universe still need Einstein? No, it needs an overhaul, and that's why he came to this channel, because we have a lot of different contenders for a new theory or model of the universe, and it ain't the string theory. My God, who vaulted past Einstein in the current scientific imagination? That's good. I agree very much. This word right there, it's all in their imagination. This is a unicorn world. String theory unites gravity, which curves the cosmos. What does that mean? Someone tell me. Go down below in the comments. Say, tell me what the cosmos is and how you curve it. Are they talking? Is it just another way for space-time, which doesn't? You take emptiness or the 3-dimensionality of where mass is, and then you put together a time, which is motion, and you call it a thing. Read Glenn Borkert. By envisioning the fundamental constituents of nature as tiny strings of energy vibrating in 11 dimensions. There are three, not 11. The theory has been described as a piece of 21st century physics that fell into the 20th century by accident, and which might require the 22nd century mathematics to understand. No, I'm almost positive that with channels like this and many people and all of our work, we're getting out really good models, and good models simplify things. It's not the universe that's complex, it's our theories, and those complex theories have to be simplified or thrown out and replaced by those things which are much simpler. And we have models that are much simpler and explain a lot more. The result is a mathematical labyrinth with 10 to the 500 solutions, each one with a different potential universe. I think it's very odd that if it's infinite, why is it 10 to the 500? It should be an infinite number. What are these people talking about? In principle, one of these universes is ours. But no one knows because the math and the physics are so horrendously complex. Remember I said it's not the universe that's complex. It's our systems, and they are brokener than broken. So the story goes. If our world is but one of many, how do we deal with the alternatives? The current point of view can be seen as the polar opposite of Einstein's dream of a Okay, so what they're saying is Einstein said there's a unified theory. There's going to be one theory that will explain how the whole universe works, and they're saying, well, no, there's different universes and they all have different rules. And actually, I will tell you at the end. I want to make a note right here, right here. I'm going to make a note because I always forget when I'm doing these things. I'm going to make a note and tell you what our new theories say about this, about one theory or infinite. So stay tuned. Don't go away. Oh, maybe you'll fast forward. Reached in Princeton. In Princeton, of course, that's where Einstein was. Dr. Blah, 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 said that the article headline, which he hadn't written, perhaps was an overstatement. Probably there are some fundamental principle, he said, perhaps whatever that lies behind string theory. I can't believe. I wish Einstein were alive to listen to these people talk about the string theory. I don't know if I told you a story. Jack, well, I can't remember his name, but I think I did a video on him. And he was a friend of Einstein's, and I interviewed him for my film. He wasn't in it because he didn't like the title, Einstein Wrong, but he basically said that Einstein used to go to lectures at Princeton and sit there, and he would be at those lectures, and he'd sit there, and Einstein would be listening to the lecture, and if he laughed in a very condescending way, that was like death. And I wish Einstein would have been around for string theory. He would have laughed his head off. But nobody, not even the founder of string theory, can say what that might be, which is this theory. The founders of string theory. No, the inventors of it, which now disown all the people who talk this way. Scientists were drawn to this vision by discovery 2 decades ago that the mysterious dark energy. See, the dark matter comes from the first part where they don't take into account that the galaxy has a gravitational field that's not uniform, and I can make you understand that. Just shoot an asteroid toward the center of the galaxy through all the stars and the arms. You think it's going to go straight? No, it's going to get closer to this one. It's going to get close to this one. It gets closer to an arm. There are more stars over here. It doesn't have uniform gravity. Therefore, if you just take and you account for the non-uniform gravity, you do not need dark matter. And then, of course, with the acceleration part, no, there's no Big Bang. If you look at the galaxy distributions, it doesn't even distribute like there was a Big Bang. So you don't have to worry about acceleration because it's not, because there's light shifts, not because of movement, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, for those who are new to my channel, we have answers to all those, and I'm just ripping through those. The dark energy bears all the earmarks of a fudge factor called the cosmological constant that Einstein inserted into his own equation century ago. So what they're saying is, oh, Einstein put in a fudge factor. We people who are now taking a theory that no one should have ever taken seriously because the authors and the inventors of it told them not to, are taking it serious, are now trying to step on Einstein. Of course, he's wrong too, so it's a big wrong fest, okay? But the amount of his dark energy is smaller than predicted value of the cosmology. Geez, there you go. I mean, are you convinced now? Are you just now, boy, all this stuff is right now. I believe it now. Physicists can only explain the discrepancy by assuming that value of Einstein's constant is random across the potential universe. We're going to use big data because there's all these universes. And we're going to use big data, AI, and statistical stuff on the different universes so we can get the average law. In short, we live where we live now. So he's talking about the dark. Talking about where we live now on our. For some physicists, the landscape is a logical extension of. I mean, I can't believe. I mean, particle physics is unicorn. String theory makes unicorn theory look absolutely real. And they're trying to say we're above Einstein. Einstein didn't get it, but we're based on the Copernican revolution. Just as the Earth is not the center of the solar system nor any planet, so is our universe not the only universe. They're either going to have to change the definition of universe, which they're not going to do, because its purpose in language means to mean everything. So these people, these journalists, supposed journalists from the New York Times. He's not, I'm sorry, but he is a rotten journalist. because he doesn't even know how to use words. He's using these in the concepts. Whoa, just parrot what's... Yep, you parrot because you're not a journalist. Journalists must be an investigation. And when you don't believe stuff like this, then what can you say? For other physicists, the idea of the universe as epistemological absurdum, a dead end of unprovable speculation in the betrayal of Einstein's dream of unique cosmos. Even in our one universe, Einstein's pilgrims are in trouble. Their path to the knowledge is blocked, perhaps by or perhaps non-existence. So this whole thing is we're trying to set up these string people as like the next. That's what you hear Neil deGrasse Tyson say, a science evangelist who parrots everything, who says things are proven and can't be wrong. A guy that is everything but a critical thinker. He says the same thing. You have Newton. Oh, then you have black holes and the Big Bang, which Newton can't describe, so you need Einstein relativity. Oh, that can't describe. No, I'm sorry. So I said that wrong. You have Newton, which describes the planets, everything, but you can't describe the Big Bang or the middle of black holes. I mean, I will say this again. Basically, you have Newton, that's what he says, but then you have the Big Bang, and you have black holes, and the Newton can't describe what's going on around the black hole. Einstein can't. But when you get to the very center, you can't. So that string theory is coming to the rescue on that. And string theory is going to come to the rescue at the Big Bang. No, what that means is they don't know what's going on. The mathematical and their complex. The Big Bang. It's just not a good idea. The black hole having an infinite mass in the middle is a stupid idea too. Those aren't physical. The problem isn't that we don't have a physics for it. The problem is it's wrong. And of course, here we go. The discovery in 2012 of the long-sought Higgs boson confirmed the last outstanding piece. Whoever's writing this, I have zero respect for now. I mean, this is just parroting. The Standard Model explains why you're... I read a little bit of the scanning over to see about this, but the Standard Model explains why your computer boots up and why a gardenia smells so sweet. That's what they say. Relativity is needed by everything. Without it, the universe doesn't work. And then if you ask them a specific thing that we can use it for, from something practical like Newton stuff, we can't do it. There's nothing. In fact, it's wrong. We can tell you why it's wrong in a bunch of ways. The model works, but the model works too well. Particle physicists have now sifted the debris of trillions upon trillions of subatomic collisions in the Hadron. Yeah, read. Go to my right here and go to the Higgs particle 1 and 2 I just done recently. You find out how they do that and how it's wrong. Read the Higgs fake, okay? This is a great intellectual achievement, but it fails to reveal. See, there you go. They're praising the unicorns and now proposing magical unicorns in multi-dimension unicorns. I'm not even going to go to that supersymmetry, just talking about that. Blah, blah, blah. Dr. House argues that physicists have gone off course by exalting mathematical elegance. They believed that Mother Nature was elegant, simple, and a kind about providing clues. They're now justifying it's impossible almost to understand, but it's not. We have models. I'm going to give you the answer here at the end. Particle physicists contend that they're merely following the time-honored successful principles. They chased the Higgs boson for half a century and nearly gave up. Before naturally finally coughed it up. Boy, is that so wrong. Boy, how many ways can this be wrong? It didn't naturally cough it up. There are ways that they do it. They're going to find it, and it's flawed. You probably can find, if you send an engineer to the way they do it, they would probably list 100 flaws at least in the methodology of the way they do these things. It's just absurd. Meanwhile, the cosmologists, a notable fractious group, have agreed upon their own model of our particular universe. According to them, atoms, the stuff you are, and the stars are made of about 5% of the cosmos. Wait, dark matter? The remaining is 70% dark energy. A theory that leaves 90% of them identified is hardly a sign of science is over. Maybe you don't understand gravity at all. Some says, I worry that we defy Einstein too much, he says. Oh, I'm worried that we're smarter than Einstein. If scientists want a gift for the holidays, it's some new physics that would break the stalemate of these standard models and provide new clues to our existence. We have them, and these people will never agree to them because they're way simpler. They make more sense. And guess what you do? You leave this entire group behind and all these people, and they become irrelevant. They are irrelevant. Subscribe to this channel. You'll find out. My gosh, maybe the breakthrough will finally come when the dark matter is figuring out what dark matter is. Oh, jeez. For now, the universe might have 11 dimensions, or might be somebody's dream. Life might have started on Mars or in boiling ocean vent, or maybe it's all bits in somebody's computer simulation. Really, I do think hallucinogenic mushrooms are very important to all these people, because you really have to be smoking and doing drugs to even believe any of this. This is cockamamie. Those who search for who we are and how nature's put together is one of the flagship human endeavors, like art or music. It will continue. It certainly will, but not with these guys or none of this. For all their skeptics, enter a book with a hopeful note. The next breakthrough in physics will occur in this century, she wrote. It will be beautiful. It will, and it won't come from that, and it will be completely different, because it'll probably be one of either an ether model, a particle model, a lattice model, or something like that, or one of the models that we have currently. More things we'd really like to know. Anyways, the reporter has 2 books, etc., etc., etc. Now, I promised you at the end here, I'll go back to this title. But I promised you at the end here to talk about, a new. They're saying, okay, that Einstein is going to unify everything. There'll be like one unified particle, perhaps, or one unified rule. And the other one says there's just an infinite amount of universes, and each one has different, laws. So you're not gonna, you're useless in trying to find that. Well, guess what? The 2 new models today, the ether models, the particle models, the lattice models, and those even based on the more traditional models of force models like Dr. Bill Lucas, all of these things propose something different, and that is they propose, for instance, like particle models or ether models, and propose infinity, but it's not an infinite amount of universe, it's an infinite amount of levels up and down. So if you look at this, it's made of pieces, those pieces are made of pieces of those people, it's turtles all the way down. You never find an ultimate particle, so you don't get the Einsteinian world. That's what infinity does, and you go up, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Then we're probably just we are particles of a bigger thing. We could be a particle of a chair from another universe up there, but it's not in a different place. There's only 3 dimensions. Everything fits into that. You don't have all this mumbo jumbo, all this bending of space. So yes, you have infinity, but they're not magically living together somehow. That's what they're talking about with these multi-dimensions. They're somehow, no, I mean, they're not. You have an infinite amount of little worlds down in this thing, because the pieces are pieces of pieces are pieces, but there's a place for them. They never occupy the same space. It's always one 3-dimensional space, and that's what you get. And the idea of one particle, no, because if you have one particle, it has magical properties, because it's going to have to organize itself. So that's the answer. That's where we are today. If you watch some of these, we're going to be talking about, I've done videos on them. I'm doing on the particle model. I'm going to do some things on ether models. But today you understand why when I see something like this, I think, oh, maybe they think Einstein. My goodness, this is about as far away, and shows you that when you are going to magical worlds that are complex and impossible to understand, this is a symptom that we need a big change in. It's not coming from this group, and it's going to come from our group. Exactly what Margaret Wortham says isn't going to happen is going to happen. Margaret, I'm sorry. If you're watching this, you're wrong. And I'm not here to be right, because I don't care. I just want to try to find truth and put this forward and get us to get away from this stuff, because it's crazy. We will need a new model, but it ain't coming from this. And remember what I say, always stay critical. Don't take my word for it. Stay critical, stay thinking. I'm David D. Hilster. I am your science therapist, trying to get you to the promised land of being science woke. Become a critical thinker and live in the natural philosophy world. Ciao for now.